Are you gonna have these eye boogers? This chicken is so happy that we're home. We miss them so much. We are back, you guys. We are back. We were gone in Asia for 3 weeks. And I kind of want to sit down, talk to you guys about the trip because I learned so much on this trip and I feel like there was so much that I took away from this experience that I want to actually sit down and talk to you guys about it. And before I get into the video, I want to say thank you to Away for sponsoring today's video. I've been a huge fan of their suitcases even before I had their suitcases. I remember looking on their website and thinking to myself, like, this is the next suitcase that I want. And then they reached out, so it was just perfect. I love their brand because everything about it is just very minimalist. They make duffels, they make suitcases that are hard shell, and now they also introduced like a soft shell version. So they make really good quality suitcases and they're all just really nicely designed. I also really love all the colors that they offer. The one that I have is their green one and I love it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for sponsoring today's video. And what I wanted to talk about in this video is kind of the whole mindset that I went through, the transformative experience that I had when I was in Asia. So prior to going to this trip, I knew that I was gonna love it. Like I knew that I was gonna have a good time because I went with all my best friends that I grew up with. While I was there, I think what was the most eye-opening was the way they treated each other. I mean, obviously everyone's gonna have like positive and negative experiences. I'm not saying that if you go to Japan and Korea and Hong Kong, you're gonna have the exact same experience as I had. Going into it, I've had people tell me like, oh girl, you will not wanna come back. Like Japan is literally the best place in the world. It's so clean, the people are so friendly, the food is so good. And that is true. If you guys want to visit an Asian country, put Japan at the top of your list, okay? Japan was absolutely amazing. The people were so nice, and I've had some people tell me that, you know, that's not always the case. Obviously there's discrimination everywhere in the world, but I feel like my personal experience was that everyone was extremely helpful. Anytime that we were lost, anytime that we wanted to order food and maybe we struggled, they were just really just helpful, and they were not angry with us or anything. Also, just to give you guys like a little preface, I'm like all over the place. Can you tell I am jet lagged? I am a mess, okay? So my thoughts are all jumbled. This trip was really different because we jumped from city to city to city to country. We were running around, and before going on the trip, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a little different. We wanted to jam-pack this trip because we wanted to experience as much as we can, especially with each other. We basically started our trip in the northern part of Japan. Approximately every 2 days, we would move from one location to the next. So that's just to give you a rough idea of how we were running around. And by the way, are you guys getting tired of this background? Actually, let's take a break real quick. This is how much our lives have changed ever since we came back. So we got a new rug. We are also redoing the fireplace. Ta-da! Currently, this is just a coat of primer, and those are the paint swatches. So we're painting it more like a nude, neutral color. Look at the plants in the background. Beautiful. Usually when Juan and I go on a trip, we like to take things slow. We're one of those travelers, okay? We're one of those that we just don't really have an itinerary. We're just kind of going with the flow. So this trip, we knew that we were gonna run around a lot, and this was truly a different experience for me. There were moments where I was just extremely exhausted. My toes are busted. I had band-aids all over my toes. The type of walking you're doing in Japan is nothing like the type of walking that you do on your day-to-day life in the US, okay? Even though I was exhausted and I had moments of just pure irritation and just questioning, like, why are we doing this? I now look back and I realize that when am I ever gonna do that again? Like, when I would rather jam-pack my trip and get to see so much and see different cultures in just one trip than maybe spread it out over a span of a couple of years and spend more money that way. And I had a really good time. On top of that, because we're running from city to city, I want to talk about the suitcases a little bit right now. They were amazing. I've had many bad experiences with suitcases in the past. I remember the last trip that I had, Juan and I got into like this little, you know, we were a little pissed at each other because our suitcases broke, and it was just really annoying trying to lug that thing around. And I remember thinking, like, this is such a way to ruin a trip when you have to jump from city to city, and the one thing that you need to rely on to carry all your belongings fails you. From that experience, I knew that suitcases played a huge role in traveling because it's really all you have. Like, that's everything, your life, in this box. It's in the suitcase. So you need something that is of quality and something that you can trust. We were walking like a minimum of 8 miles per day. And because we were running from city to city, going from train to train, and we also wanted to save money and we didn't take taxis, a lot of the things were done by foot, and we were lugging our suitcases through pebbled roads, up and down the stairs, everything. And they were getting thrown around in the airport. Our suitcases held up nicely and no problems at all. Also, another thing that I loved about their suitcases would have to just be the way that everything is compartmentalized. And obviously you can use your suitcase however you please, but I use this section for my panties and everything, and I love that my panties were nice and clean in that area. And they also have like a laundry bag that is inside of your suitcase, which is amazing because when you are on a trip for that long, you don't want to mix your dirty clothes with your clean clothes. It can get very smelly in your suitcase. So I would toss all my dirty laundry into that bag, and whenever we'd go to a laundromat, I would just take the bag with me and go to the laundromat. So it just made everything really easy, clean, and organized. So I really love that feature. Well, I was actually editing right there and I just realized that I'm talking a whole lot. So we're gonna migrate. So I'm actually gonna head into the office just because there's better lighting in here. Oh, and look at our guava tree, you guys. Look how big. So if you guys are in the market looking for a suitcase, I highly recommend them. I was really inspired by how we can treat our own communities, the way they treated each other, and there was just a sense of consideration for everyone. I think for me, after living in LA for quite a few years, I have really adapted to like that typical LA mindset. Very impatient, you know, I want to get from point A to point B, and I'm just like always in a rush. What I learned from Japan was that people are in a big city too, and these people are running around as well, but there was this sense of just respect for their communities and people, and I wanted to apply that more into my life. Not that I was ever like disrespectful to people, but I want to have that type of hospitality for people that I don't even know. I feel like the reason why Japan is this way is because everyone applies that, and I think it has to start with someone. And maybe if I was very friendly to someone, maybe I greeted them that day, it will inspire them to want to do the same for someone else. I know that's kind of cheesy, but really I think that's so important because I want to feel welcomed. I want to feel I want to feel happy where I live. I want to feel safe where I live. I want to feel like the people actually care about each other and that there's a sense of community. So yeah, that's one thing I really took away from the trip, and I really encourage you guys to maybe try to do the same in your community as well. I know we all have an agenda, right? We are all so busy. We all have to sit in traffic. We all are dealing with life, and sometimes we may put that anger or that frustration on other people and they don't even deserve it. And when I was in Japan, the way that I felt welcomed, and even though I was getting frustrated with my day because I was running from city to city and I was getting tired and I was fatigued, I would like go into a store and the person working would greet me so nicely, or I would be at the train station and someone would just greet me for no reason. It really made my trip so much more memorable. Put Japan at the top of your list. And Korea, I mean, I've talked about Korea before. Korea is truly an amazing experience as well. I loved Korea so much. The food, I love the food culture. The street food, just food in general, everything was so authentic. Another thing that really inspired me while I was in Asia was just home cooking. When I was in Korea, I felt like a lot of the food was like comfort food, right? They're all comfort like stews and rice dishes that my friends would make me. When I was there and I got to have that, it was like a type of comfort that I really love, that once Juan and I came back, kid you not, we have been cooking at home almost every single meal, every single day. So yeah, that's another thing that really made me so happy after coming home. I was just really looking forward to making my own food and like putting love into the food that I would make, especially after going to the Gwangjang market. If you guys do decide to go to Korea, I would highly recommend going to the Gwangjang market. It is a market where they sell street food. They also sell like side dishes, which is a big part of Korean culture. In that market, you see all these these women. It's mostly run by women actually. And in this market, they had all of these different stalls with different foods. There's like gimbap, and they had kalguksu, which is a soup that is made with knife cut noodles, and the broth is made from anchovies. And this would have to be my favorite meal that I've had in Korea. And it was just made by these ladies. Like, they were just cooking right in front of me. They were just like hustling, and that was so inspiring to see. They work hard and they put a smile on their face despite how busy they are. That truly was so inspiring. So if you guys do decide to go to Korea, I would highly recommend going to the Gwangjang market and just like meet the ladies there, try the food. Everything that I tasted was amazing. And then also we went to Hong Kong. Hong Kong is like one of my favorite places. I love Hong Kong because it's a very vibrant city. I also speak the language there, so there's a sense of like that type of community. So I had a really good time in Hong Kong as well. But while we were there, we actually received some bad news from home, and I don't really want to talk about it. Maybe eventually we will, but we were going through a kind of an emotional roller coaster while we were in Hong Kong, so we didn't really vlog much. So when you guys watch the vlogs, you'll see we kind of just like fell off when we were in Hong Kong. I wanted to kind of clarify that in case you're wondering like why didn't we vlog much while we were in Hong Kong. But we've been to Hong Kong many times because I think it's such a vibrant city. If you guys are looking for a city where it's just kind of like a melting pot of lots of different types of food, I would highly recommend Hong Kong. Hong Kong I also found to have a lot of really cute like boutiques and cafes. So if that's your thing, I would definitely check out Hong Kong. We stayed in Wan Chai, which is Wan Zai, and Seung Wan. Both are neighborhoods in Hong Kong that are pretty close together, and those two neighborhoods I found had a lot of like cute boutiques and local shops. So I think that kind of wraps up the trip. I hope you guys enjoyed this like recap. Let me know if you guys like these videos. I feel like I hardly ever sit down and like talk to camera unless it's like a Sikfan episode. If there's another city or country that you would like for us to visit, or you've been and you think that we would love, please recommend it to us, because I truly cannot wait to travel again. I also learned this trip that I can really pack lighter, okay? I realized that I don't need so much. When I was going on this trip and I was packing, my friends told me that because we're all staying in these small Airbnbs and we're running from city to city, to pack light, because you don't want to be carrying all this stuff and lugging it around. I packed everything that I needed into one medium-sized suitcase. Through this trip, I realized how much I truly actually needed. There was a lot of stuff that I packed in there, and prior to going to the trip, I thought, I am so underpacked, like I'm not gonna be good. But when I was there, I realized that it was more so about how I was seeing the city versus how I want to be seen. That's actually a comment that someone left me, and I was like, that is so true. That is exactly how I feel. Traveling is not about, and sometimes it is, but on a trip like this, where I really just wanted to immerse myself into the culture, it was not about what I was wearing. It was truly just about what was comfortable for me to see the world, and I truly did not need a lot. I realized that I truly do not need so much, and what I do need are just quality pieces and things that will carry me on through many, many years. So I feel really inspired to just live a even more minimalist, not even more, I'm not even minimalist, not even close to it, but I want to be more of a minimalist. Like, I want to live that life because I realize that it's totally possible. That I lived 3 weeks of my life feeling totally content, and I even feel like I overpacked. So yeah, I just learned so much about like myself and what my true necessities are. So next time I go on a trip, I'm so inspired to just bring a carry-on and a backpack. Like, that is it, because I want my trip to be about being light and just about seeing the places I'm going instead of being seen. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it inspires you to travel as well. And I know, you know, traveling is not something that we can all just say, I want to travel, and we can go. It requires a lot of planning, but I hope that this inspires you to do something like this for yourself, because you deserve it. Maybe you're going through a rut, maybe you're just feeling uninspired. I promise you, traveling and just opening up your mind and your world will truly bring inspiration into your life, and it will really help you with whatever you're going through. I highly encourage you guys to make it happen for yourself. We all have work schedules, we all have budgets, but I really hope that this inspires you to reserve a budget and to reserve some time off for yourself, because you deserve it, and we all deserve to see beyond our world and beyond our work and beyond our everyday life. The more you see, the more you learn, and the more you grow as a person. I think we all feel so guilty sometimes to treat ourselves, to enjoy life, because I think we live in a society where it's all about work, right? If you're not working, it's like, what are you doing? You're so lazy. But you know, I think every couple of years we all deserve that one trip that is transformative to our life. So Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that meant something to you. And again, thank you so much to Weylie for sponsoring this video. Thank you for making my trip so enjoyable. Without the suitcases, I truly don't think that my trip would be the same, because I had such an easy experience with like packing everything, moving everything that I needed for these 3 weeks were in there, and they were safe. They were getting thrown around and nothing was broken. And I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this Asia series, and I'm excited to go back to our regular content, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Start your computations.